Hello and welcome to the game design class for Monday, September 21st. I'm going to let people in from the waiting room. Hello. How you guys doing today? Good?
Yeah, doing pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good.
For a Monday, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for Monday.
Ah, Mondays are such evil days. It's strange that a day can be evil, but if it's possible, it's Monday.
Yeah, right. Exactly. If the shoe fits.
Agreed.
Fridays are good. Fridays are good days. Mondays are evil. Did you guys have a nice weekend? Anything fun or interesting happen? Anything fun and
Nope.
interesting?
I know, no, just a whole lot of nothing, like usual, man. Sucks. I just like want to go out so bad, but it's like I'm just stuck here at home. Everything's closed.
It's like a
Still
perfect.
not used to it.
Oh, I went to a movie. I went to an actual movie in a movie theater.
Wow.
What?
What did you
Yeah,
see?
I know, right?
What did you see, Hunter?
Uh, it's uh, it's one of those anime movies that my friends wanted me to go see with them. It's called Made in Abyss, if you know what that is.
No. Sounds sick
Very,
though.
very. It looks like a kid's show, but it is not. It is very graphic and gory to the point where I had to look away a couple of times.
Oh,
But it was a good movie, all in
Nice.
all in Japanese. So I was reading subtitles the whole time, but hey, didn't take
uh,
away.
how does it feel to go back to the theater?
Oh my God, it felt amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so they have this policy where when you buy a ticket and you choose a seat, it blacks out the seats next to you, so your friends can't sit next to you, essentially. So we had to get one person to buy all the tickets and then pay them back, and it was kind of dumb, but you know,
Huh. That's weird. Okay. Yeah. And where did you go see it?
crap, I can't remember the theater. I think Galaxy Theaters. I can't remember the location though.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. The closest thing I've been to a movie in like since January was like I went to a drive-in, and I was like, this is good enough, I guess. It's gonna
Taking it
have to
old
do.
school.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the pandemic sucks in every imaginable way, but um, when you have to look at the good side of things, like drive-in theaters came back, even sort of homemade, like mock drive-in theaters, and those are kind of cool.
Right? Yeah. That's what I was saying. I saw like I can't remember the name of the place now, but yeah, I saw their schedule was like, oh yeah, Back to the Future playing this Wednesday. And I was like to my girlfriend, I was like, Mia, let's go. Let's just get out of the house, please.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool.
yeah. There's a couple of pop-up drive-in theaters. There's one downtown, and they have all those screens. The giant monitor screens that you hook together, and then it makes like one big picture.
Yes.
Like a stack
Right.
of those, and then a PA system, and people just drove their cars in, and they could get out and sit on like lawn chairs, and you could tune your radio, to the.
Right.
It was fun, you bring
That's
food.
very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Um, so it's kind of a cool thing to do if you've never been to a drive-in theater before. I guess now's the time, right? Because you don't
Yeah,
have.
yeah, seriously.
Anyway, let me go ahead and get the roll real quick. I'll just check that off my list here. Go to Pima's website and put in you guys as being here today. Okay, just take me a second. Right, so teach, and attendance, and game design, and this, and that. Okay. Um, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up the class website and then share my screen. Okay, pima.com. Game design. There we go. Okay, and then share my screen. Share, share, and then close this little window here. Okay, let's see. Now, Nick, you're here, right? Yes, you're here.
Yes, I am.
Did you manage to put a presentation together for today?
No, I did not.
Okay. So, can you maybe try and work on getting one together? You could try and get it together for Wednesday, but if that's hard because you're trying to get your game finished, you could do it for next Monday. Does that work?
Uh, Probably.
Or next Wednesday, or you can have what Veronica's bringing down the aisle. I tell you what, can you get it to us next week sometime?
I can try.
Okay, all right. Why don't you work on that? Okay, so I wanted to start off by showing you guys. We had Davis, the guest speaker, last week. Did you guys enjoy that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Uh, and so he finished off the monkey, and he sent me a couple pictures. I thought I'd share them with you. So this was the monkey that he finished, and that's
Nice.
that's the front view. And then we can go back here
You
to,
definitely nailed the cartoony look. It's awesome.
I think all three of mine, it looks like all three of mine link to the same, which sucks. Let me see if I can find the email so I can bring up, let's see, la 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 la, and the back. Okay, so sorry about that. All three of them link to the same thing, but so here's the back of the image, and then I think the one right above that would be he sent me three different views. So let's see, and the back. So it's got to be right above this. How's he looking? So there's the front view. Oh, there's a close-up of his face.
Yeah,
Okay.
did really well.
Yeah, he did a great job, and he moves really quickly. So it's kind of amazing to see somebody working at that speed. It makes you jealous. You're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Does.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, let me go back to the class website here. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Okay, so I have a blog post for you guys. I'll just go over it with you, and then you guys are always welcome to go back and read these on your own and pull out the details. Hopefully I linked this one to the correct place. I love it when you link something wrong and you know that's the one thing you didn't check.
Right.
Yeah. Come on, go do the correct damn thing. Okay, good. This one actually worked. All right. So I'm working on a couple games right now. One of the things that has been suggested to me and that I suggest to others is that if you're developing games that you really want to put out there, whether they're board games or video games or whatever, it's a good idea to work on more than one at once because if you work on just one game all the time, what it can do is it can cause arthritis. No, I'm just kidding. It can cause overdevelopment on the game. And overdevelopment is just as bad as underdevelopment, right? With overdevelopment, can you guys think of some possible downsides to overdevelopment?
3-hour setups.
Yeah. What else? If you overdevelop a game, it's kind of like overcooking a meal. What happens? Or maybe you like burnt food. I don't know. Well, anyway, if you basically one of the things that I see as a downside to overdevelopment is it becomes like a dungeon with never-ending rooms, right?
Mm.
You just keep going and going and going, and you never stop. And if you continue to develop, you never finish, right? You're just always developing. So at some point you got to do a code lock, or you got to, create a deadline or something like that, and you got to say, this is it. These are all the features that are going to be included in this first version of the game. Everything else goes to version 2 or to the update or to the expansion, so that you can just get the damn thing finished and move on. And so one of the nice
Right.
things about working on more than one game at a time is it forces you to not overdevelop one game, because you go work on the other, right? And sometimes you're working on one game, you get kind of burned out, and you're like, oh, I need a break from this. And then you have the incentive to work on the other game because it's fresh to you, and then you can come back to this one, right? So just something to think about if you are developing a game that you'd like to release out there, and you're putting a lot of time into it. Consider, coming up with a second little game on the side to put some of your attention in when you think this one is happening too much. Okay. Yeah, and then Jesse says if it gets too complex, too much going on, right? Yeah, that's exactly right, Jesse. Okay, so anyway, I'm working on a couple games. One is the one with the monkeys, and you saw Brock, and the other one is this one called Diner Duel. And for this one, it's going to be some sort of 1950s style robots that are battling, that are having these fights. And so I'm working on the robots. I've drawn some of them. And for my blog post today, I'm talking about this little robot that I drew. So the first 4 robots that I drew, I made them all very consistent. They were all just standing, facing forward with the same eyes and the same smile, because I had looked at some reference materials, some people who had drawn some robots, and I saw one guy whose stuff I really liked, and all the eyes were the same, and all the expressions were the same. And I said, "Oh, I like that because that makes them all look like they're part of the same group." So I made this little robot, and he's got the same eyes and the same expression as all the others. And I walked away from it a little bit. I was like, I need a little time away from this because I spent a lot of time, figuring out ideas. And when I came back to it, I'm like, he's a cute little robot, but he's also just kind of sitting there. He doesn't have any life. He doesn't have an expression on his face other than this sort of dead robot smile, right? So I thought, what can I do to juice this guy up, because these robots are supposed to be battling each other. So the first thing I did was I said, okay, I'm going to break my own rule and change his expression. So let me get this a little bigger so it's easier for you guys to see. So there's the original robot, right? So I'm like, okay, he's going to be a fighting robot. So instead of a smiley little cute robot, let's give him some angst. So I just put a couple of, tilty eyebrows on him, and then I turned his mouth into sort of a grill, which, makes him look like he's gritting his teeth. So, okay, good. So I got some expression. I put a little life into that robot, right? And then I thought, well, if he's going to be attacking somebody, he needs some appendages, to be able to attack the enemy. So why don't I give him a couple of arms, right? So then in the next phase of development, I gave the robot some arms, and now he looks a little bit like a lobster. He's going to attack somebody, right? And then I thought, okay, that looks good, but now he looks kind of strange in just this static, straight ahead pose. I've given him an expression, I've given him some appendages, so now I need to add some movement to it. So maybe I can tilt him, and so like he's flying through the air, and maybe I can take these little areas down here, and they can be like little jets, and I can put some flames coming out from that. So then I'll tilt him. He'll be even more dynamic, right? Now, in addition to that, I decided that I wanted him to. Well, let's see what the next slide looks like, right? Okay, so there he is. There's the next one, and you can see that he's much more dynamic now, right? And then finally, I said, okay, now why don't I he's going to be on a card, like a regular poker card, so why don't I pop in a background, put in what's called flavor text or descriptive text, and put some statistics in the corners so I can see what he looks like on sort of the mock-up of the finished card. And then that's what I ended up with. So, this final product, as opposed to the first one, is night and day. The first one was a smiley little robot just sitting sort of lifeless on a white field. And then this, at least in my opinion, and you guys can express yours, he looks a lot more animated, he looks a lot more fun, and it looks like a card that you would want to interact with and a game you might want to play. So that's kind of what today's post is about taking game graphics, and elevating them to the next level so that people, get engaged with it. Okay, so all right, that's the blog post for today. Let me go back here. Okay, so I know you guys are working on a number of things. You're working on, you got other classes probably, and lives. Well, lives get in the way of schoolwork, unfortunately. But I'm wondering if any of you had a chance to work on the elevator pitches from last week.
Yeah, I was able to write one for our game.
Yeah, and where is it?
It should just be in my Drive,
Okay,
my
and
Google Drive thing.
okay, let me go ahead and open that up then. Is this it?
Nope, that's not it. Let me just do this. Copy that, and then, oops. Okay, let me save it now. Okay, cool. So now try and open that and see, because I added to the bottom of that one.
It's on the bottom of this page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, there it is.
Okay, would you like to read it?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, this is and it's like a working title too, just kind of something that I could put in for a placeholder for the game name. But so here we go. In Return of the Old Ones, you play as a monster from the H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos. Your goal is to defeat humans and the machines they have created in their vain attempts to stop the impending threat. Return of the Old Ones is a deck evolution card game where players can strategize in battle to come out on top. Strategy is important because by the end of the game, the players may choose to turn the tables on their teammates and battle each other to be the last monster standing. Choosing when to use stat cards and mutations wisely can mean the difference between a good run and ultimate victory. Return of the Old Ones is the definitive battle against humanity and the fight to be the best.
What do you guys think?
Pretty good.
I think that's
Thanks.
good.
What do you like about it? What are some of the phrases or some of the details that stick out to you as being ones that are evocative, that make you want to play the game, that do a good job of describing the game?
Well, for the most part, for me, is since I'm working with them, but where it just says Lovecraft in general, is because if you all know what that means, it's just the Cthulhu mythology. So if I hear that, then if it's based on that, I'm gonna get interested.
Right? Like the familiarity.
hmm
So that brings up an interesting question. Do you think it might be worth like putting some parenthetical information after Cthulhu mythos to engage the people who aren't Cthulhu fans?
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Because I have been working just like, especially now with how popular, like there's like Lovecraft Country and stuff, because it is kind of becoming really popular. But like I've been working under the assumption like, oh, everybody knows about this just because I do. So it's a good point to try to like add in something there for people that may not be aware, because it still would be a fun game no matter what.
Yeah, and it could just
Yeah,
be a short phrase. I don't know how you would describe it. Cthulhu
right,
are monsters from the deep that have a deep hatred of humans, or whatever. But
right.
when you assume something, I always think of my father. My father is he's 88, I think, and he whenever I show him a web page, he asks me, "Where's the blue?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
And what he's talking about is, when the internet first came along in the mid 90s for the general public, all of the links were blue, right? And
Mhm.
so
oh,
blue is what you clicked on, right?
right,
And so I use that when I'm talking to my web design students too, because a lot of web design students, they don't want to put a home button on their web page because they think people will know to click on the logo to go home. And I'm like, no, not everybody knows that.
right.
Sometimes you have to put in what you think is redundant information to sort of be inclusive of everyone.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course, right.
yeah. So I think you did an excellent job here, Creed. I would almost like to hear perhaps a few more like actual details. I know you don't have a lot of. I know it's an elevator pitch, so you can't really get
Right.
details, right? But like
Right.
I'll give you an example. I know what Cthulhu is, but I don't know like the sticky, gory details of Cthulhu. Like I don't know if it's tentacle monsters or
Okay.
um, if it's devil worship. I don't know if there's vampires involved or zombies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe a few keywords, and those keywords might even be able to grab a few audience members for you because there's probably audiences out there that are like, I will play anything zombies, or I will
Right.
anything World War II, or you know what I mean?
Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. Of course. So those words, I mean, like, even work as a way to stand out among everything else. To be like, "Whoa, I'm in. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I like that." Yeah.
I mean, how often has that happened? Like somebody starts to describe a game and they use like Cthulhu. You're like, I'm in.
Yeah. Right. Say no more.
Yeah, right. And yeah, please say no more. But another thing about this is as you're developing those keywords, remember keywords are something that can be used on the internet to bring people into your site to find your site.
Oh, right. Right.
If you took your elevator pitch and you sort of you used it, recycled it to use, like, say, on the front page of your website, beneath this gorgeous graphic, right? Then
Right.
you would actually want to embed and load it up with as many keywords as possible.
Right.
Demons, devil worship, Cthulhu, whatever.
Right. Tentacles. Whatever.
And game, obviously the word
Yeah.
game,
Right.
and what kind of game, board game, card game. Um, and you did some cool things here. There were some specifics like deck evolution card game, right? Um,
Right.
and once again, if this were on the internet, you would have the opportunity to like link that to a definition of what a deck evolution
Oh,
game is, right?
right. Right.
Um, so it's well done, and I'm just giving you some ideas for ways you could expand it.
No. Yeah. Thank you. No, I mean, those all are perfect. I like it. Thank you.
And I do like the name, even
Oh,
though
thanks.
it's just a temporary working name. Working
Right.
still like it. Okay. Anybody else get a chance to put a elevator pitch together?
I didn't have the elevator pitch because I got the deadlines mixed up. I was working on the TSS portion of the game.
Oh no, that's fine. You guys have a deadline of Wednesday, and obviously, finishing a prototype of the game is a higher priority. I was just wondering if some of you like knock something out, at the tail end of class or over the weekend or something. I'm just checking in with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, of course, finish this up after your games are done. Any other people out there manage to squeeze one out? Okay. All right. So let's go back to the class website. Okay. All right. So uh, because this game is due or the prototype is due on Wednesday, I'm essentially going to give you guys all the remaining period to work on it. So you guys can hop on Discord. The link's right here. You can stay on this channel and chat to each other for a while. You can do whatever you need to connect. I know that connection is hard to come by outside of class sometimes, but see if you can set a few goals for Wednesday. Divvy up the work and get as much done as you can. The idea is that on Wednesday we'd be able to jump in. Maybe you could share your screen or whatever, or maybe we could actually connect through Tabletop Simulator and look at this prototype that you've developed. Okay, sound good? Any questions from you guys?
Not so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
No, sounds like a plan.
Why don't you guys break into your teams and work on your games? And I'm gonna shut down the share, but I'll stay on the channel. I'll just mute my video or mute my audio and turn off my video, and then just pop in if you have a question to ask me. Okay.
Will do.
Okay. Thanks, guys.